What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Big Thing Sith Council Edition, man. We're talking about Ahsoka, Episode 4. Full spoiler discussion. I know, listen, one thing I'm going to tell you is that we're going to have a full-on debate here between me and Michael Kalinowski. Steph is not here. She's not going to be here until the strike's over. That's what people keep asking. I talk to her all the time. Always check in, and we love Steph. I can't wait to have her back. But she is she's decided rightfully so that she wants to wait until the strike's over. Same thing with some of the other peeps on the show, and we can't wait to have them back once the strikes are over. In the meantime, we are going to get into the full discussion, myself and Mike. And if you haven't already done it, please hit that button. We were at almost 91,000. We should hit 91,000 today, and we're hoping we'll be 9,000 away. Getting to that 100 mark. We're almost there, but we need you guys to help us out. So show a little class, will you? Just announce. Hit that button. Do it. Let the English see you do it. All right, everybody. It's me and Mike. It is the Sith Council Ahsoka edition. Let's do it.
I can feel your anger. It gives you focus, makes you stronger.
It is the Sith Council Big Thing edition here, everybody. It's me, Mike Kalinowski.
Yeah.
And we're back.
Mm-hmm.
I have not asked you your opinion yet on this. Coming in fresh.
Yeah, buddy.
One thing I will say, I think you're going to agree with me on this one, is that I said, maybe.
I think so.
I said, when you look at episode 3, because we both thought episode 3 had a lot, and we both agreed that episode 3, I saw some comment that I addressed earlier today that someone thought it was a filler, episode 3. I think you can say anything you want about that episode, but if you say episode 3 is a filler, when you look at what filler by definition is, you're wrong. Because filler means that it didn't further the plot. It was a side, it was just there to fill time, and they didn't, there was a break from the main plot and all this, which it wasn't. What I will say is this, after watching this, if you combined episode 3 and episode 4 together as 1 hour-long episode, what a monster episode this would have been. Much more so, because it ends at the end of episode 3, it just ends with kind of bailing on the cliff. And then added to everything that goes down in this one, how much more of an impact do you think as a full-on episode as opposed to 2 separate?
I don't know why they did that.
Right?
I don't know why. I'm watching this going...
Disney. That's a
because
Disney
if you
thing.
think about this, like this episode... Wait, can you not hear me?
Talking to the mic.
How about this? That better?
Yeah.
This episode basically was just, hey, we're getting the hyperdrive, and we're going.
And let's fight.
That was it.
And let's fight.
Yeah.
Great episode. It's a great episode, Mike.
Was it?
It was great.
Okay.
Yeah, it was great.
Okay.
You're wrong.
Hey, according to the internet last night, it's the greatest thing in the world. It's perfection and everything else. So who am I to argue?
Well, that's why you're here. People.
why I haven't
This is
argued.
what I like about you, though.
What's
too, 'cause
that?
people will yell at you today because
Of course they will.
You're going to be on. You're going to be on the minority of this one,
I
because
know.
this was a fantastic
I
episode.
know I will be.
And I kid when I say, look, it's your opinion. So
Well, here's the
I
thing.
disagree with your opinion, but it's your opinion.
We got this a lot last episode. People are like, would it kill Mike to watch the few episodes of Rebels that makes him understand these characters? And I go, I get that, guys. I specifically did not watch Rebels because I want to be the general audience going into the show going, will I be lost? Will I be invested?
Yeah.
Now, that said, if you are a fan of Rebels, I can see why you all are losing your minds for this episode.
Oh, for this episode.
For this
Right,
episode.
okay.
For those of us that don't know Rebels, I'm kind of like, well, it's Balin standing on a cliff again, looking up. The amount of times they're just standing there looking up, it's mind-boggling to me.
I don't know,
They're
man.
just mind-boggling.
I liked everything
They're
that
just
was going on.
standing there looking at the cliff. Like,
All right. So before you go on your rant with the cliff, the fact didn't you get Empire vibes though from how when they're on like the asteroid, and they're trying to fix the ship and with the.
they're not on it. They're on a planet.
Holy shit, man. You don't listen to shit. I said, don't you get Empire vibes
Yeah.
when in Empire they were on an asteroid
Oh.
trying to fix the ship, similar to what they're doing here? You didn't get that vibe to it?
No,
Oh, okay. Good for
I
you.
didn't.
Oh, you're in one of these moods today.
Fiery bitch today. Let's go.
Let's not curse.
I'll try.
How about you're not trying well?
Hold on. Let me have a little
Yeah,
cheers
chew pretzels. That'll help.
And I'm tan.
You know what's going to happen?
Huh.
Someone's going to be listening in their car to this, and they're going to pull over, and they're going to give the middle finger to the radio because so many different reasons for you today of what you are trying to accomplish and failing and succeeding at the same time. So you didn't like anything about this episode?
Are we on the air right now?
No. Are we on the air right now? He says.
You need to say ready and action for me, and then I'm ready to go.
I only do that for actors.
Yeah, I'm on strike, so I'm not acting right now anyway.
It's true. So did you really not like anything in this episode?
No, I did. It was an enjoyable episode.
Okay.
Fun Star Wars.
Okay.
Fun Star Wars.
What's your problem?
It's the hyperbole of Star Wars. And maybe
Fans?
because
So the fans are pissing you off more than the
well, hold
episode
on a
itself.
second.
Okay.
First of all, we've talked about this. I hate that they have now changed this to a 6 p.m. drop time on the East Coast because my feed blew up with the picture of the spoiler.
Don't go on
and
the
you're
internet.
Like, don't go on the internet. I go on the internet for more than Star Wars. I go on for news, to talk to friends all over the world.
Take a break.
No.
Yeah, that's your own
I
fault.
don't have to do that.
I have no sympathy for you.
I know you don't because you guys have to get your pictures up to put up on these things, and you got to do your
Because
Star Wars
I don't want to
channels.
wake up at you're playing 13-year-olds in Call of Duty at 2 a.m.
I am.
Right. So you're up. So
Sure am.
So it doesn't bother you to do it. So
No,
this
not
is-
at all.
This is a selfish thing you're talking about.
I didn't say it wasn't.
Okay.
I didn't say it wasn't.
Right.
100% selfish. Or we have some decorum online because I'll tell you this. I got people with the picture of Anakin. I don't follow. No one that I follow retweeted them, liked what they did, and then I go on their profile, and none of my people follow them. So how are these people coming up on my timeline?
You know that it's another thing you can do. You can mute everything Star Wars, right?
Not if they don't put a Star Wars tag in it. You can't. Doesn't matter. Yeah, it's fucked. I did it. I broke the rule. It's screwed. Anyway, I liked the episode. I liked it.
Okay.
It wasn't the greatest thing in the world like everyone's claiming it is.
See, okay, go ahead. Keep going.
And again, we have to preface this with I have not watched Rebels. So I'm sure if you're a Rebels fan, there was so much more about that you are loving. And hey, that's awesome because not everything needs to be for people like me that don't know it.
The only thing that I think that is relevant to anything you just said as far as Rebels goes, is the end. With the World Between Worlds, like
That's what that was.
that was the World Between Worlds.
Okay.
Right. Now, the question is this. Now, if episode 5 is going to be an entire thing of World Between Worlds. Now, they have the opportunity to explain it to everyone, like to people like yourself, because I don't disagree. When she woke up and I said, "Oh, she's in the World Between Worlds," first, right after it was done, I was like, "What are someone like yourself?" You're like, "I don't know where she is," right?
You know what I thought?
What?
And again, because the World Between Worlds seems like it's been built off of other things that we're familiar with, it seemed to me like in Infinity War when they are on Vormir and they die and they're
Right.
in that place that like he wakes up and he's like, "I'm not dead. Where am I?" We've seen this in literature, movies, and television all the time. It's a
gateway.
the afterlife, the ether. So
Well,
I knew what it was. I don't know the significance to Star Wars.
Well, and that's what they need to do and I believe that they will in the next episode. They've got to explain it because if you don't know what the World Between Worlds is, and so in season 2 she fights Vader. It's a great fight.
Does she know it's Anakin?
She kind of has a pretty good idea for it, and then it's a pretty emotional. You should watch it on. It's a good fight, and
When the show's over, I'll watch it.
fine. And at the end of it, for a long time, people were like, "Well, people thought Ahsoka was dead because shit falls down, and they're like, okay, where is she?" Yeah. And people kept asking Filoni, "Is she dead? Is she alive?" And then they reveal, I think it's either in season 3 or season 4, that Ezra is able to connect to the World Between Worlds, and he's the one that at the last second during this fight he pulls her out and brings her into the World Between Worlds and saves her life.
Okay.
So the thought is that somehow Anakin accesses the World Between Worlds and he pulled her out before she falls to her death fighting Balin. That's kind of what I would assume.
Okay.
But the question is, A, how does he access it? B, if that's the case, what version of Anakin is this? Because the Anakin Skywalker who eventually turns to Vader didn't do that. Didn't have. There is a moment in, again, Clone Wars. Did you ever watch the Mortis episodes?
No.
I don't know. I know you saw some episodes of Clone Wars, but the Mortis episodes had a period where Anakin actually he saw the entire thing of where his life went and he envisioned and this is all Lucas stuff. This isn't like them just coming up with it. This Lucas came up with this, and he saw the entire thing, and then his mind was that experience was wiped from him.
Okay.
Because so what if it inside of that afterwards, that version of him with time and space, because it works so differently. If there's a version of Anakin that actually saved Ahsoka and takes her to a different place, I don't know. It's going to change the way that Star Wars perceives time and space, I think, in this episode and the next one.
And as to people that don't know any of this, that's a big apple to bite into.
You've got to be able to explain it.
You have to.
Episode 5. That's why I think it is a 95% guarantee that the entire episode will just be a World Between Worlds.
Where
episode.
is she right now? Underwater? Just dying?
No, she's in space.
But
I don't
how?
know.
So you mean she fell off that cliff?
Yeah.
He went into the World Between Worlds, pulled her into this
It's like
pocket dimension.
It's kind of like a mirror type thing. That
Are we
the
going to see
Emperor-
his hands coming and catching her when she falls and bringing her in?
I don't know. I mean, I think there was something when you see the fight
Okay.
itself in Rebels, or whatever episode it was.
Mhm.
Ezra physically grabs her and pulls her.
Well, I don't know that.
Right. And that's the thing. You've got to be able that is why I agree with not only your assessment, a few people's assessment of if you don't understand, if you've never seen Rebels, you don't know what the hell is going on right now. Like you've got to be able to explain that.
Not in a bad way, because I did understand. I was like, okay, she's on the verge of dying.
Right.
This is some kind of afterlife. What's going to happen? So I'm cool. But again, I'm kind of deep in the lore of nerddom,
Sure.
where we see this all the time.
How's the casual fan going to deal with it? Right.
Right. How is
Well, I think
Joe
they
Schmo doing it?
definitely have to be aware of that. I mean, they definitely have to be aware. They're going to
Hopefully.
and I think that's why it's a longer episode next week. I think it's something like 46 or 47 minutes.
Okay.
It is a Dave Filoni directed episode.
Ooh.
So
that's got to be the heavy lifting is going to happen in this episode.
his episodes are always pretty full with lore and diving deep into the core of what the show is about.
I saw a lot of comments from the hardcore Star Wars, and I say that with love because I know them through the Schmodown mainly, and they are so deep invested in everything that comes out. They said that this episode was so deep in the dialogue of the lore. I didn't think that. I was not like, what is that? Who is that? Except for the World Between Worlds stuff.
Oh, you didn't think the stuff with Balin talking about Anakin and
But I didn't feel I wasn't lost. I was just like, oh, it makes sense. Yeah, he would know him in the order and this and that. Like it wasn't like.
But that's not what they're saying though. Right?
Okay,
They're just saying that
they're building
lore.
the world out of,
Yeah, they're
of
just saying
the
it.
histories and stuff.
I mean, all of it. But let us talk about
What do you want to talk
Merrick though.
about? Oh
This is the best because
It's the best.
when initially it came out that I was like, who, I wonder who that is, and then people just started going rampant on who it was. The theory that I liked, but wasn't sold on it was the Star Killer thing, right? I liked it because I was like, it would be nice to see Sam Witwer in live action finally. They finally bring that character in. They give him more to do. It would be great if they did it that particular way. But the other side of that was I was thinking, well, the only problem with that is you're going to really have to spend a lot of time explaining him. And then it was Monday that we talked because Sam Witwer pretty much said, I'm not in the show, guys. He forgot that he even did voices in it.
But he did do voices, and
He did
that's what
voices.
people took the.
That's what they took him. But
Like,
then after he said that, I was like, I don't want it to be anybody. I want it to be just a random dude. And I love that that's exactly what it was. I love that so much.
it's the, and I don't know why they do it. It's like they take, like, it was the WandaVision Mephisto. It was Mephisto. Is it going to be like, how about sometimes, and it's like, it goes back to the old Lucas, where he got a bunch of the art and goes, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Make that a guy.
Right.
Put him in the background. And they just went with it.
Yeah.
Like, Obi-Wan had a bunch of people in the background, inquisitors and whatnot. No one was like, "Who is that going to be? So and so in disguise?" Is it just because he was wearing a mask?
They masked. Look.
You thought it was going to be Ezra?
No.
People out there,
No.
not you,
No.
but people out there thought it was going to be Ezra.
What do
You
you-
remember that?
It would have. Of
What
course, I
the-
remember that.
I don't even watch Rebels, and I'm like, that is the
It makes-
stupidest
It
thing
makes
ever.
no sense.
It doesn't make sense to be Star Killer. It doesn't make sense to be the guy from Last Jedi Survivor. They wanted it to be.
Yeah,
The blonde-
I
the
didn't-
redhead.
I didn't mind that theory.
Well,
either.
come on.
I didn't mind it, but like here's what I will say though. I don't. I saw a comment that I see all the time, and I see it from our peers, and it drives me crazy. And I think it is so self-righteous, and I think it is so lame when people go, "Why don't you stop speculating, and why don't you just enjoy what you got?" It's like, no, you don't do that. If people want to speculate, and honestly, if people,
wait,
but wait, hold on. If people want to theorize and people want to say, "Oh, what if it's Star Killer? What if it's Ezra? What if it's this?" I think that's fun. I think that's part of Star Wars. What I don't think is right is if it doesn't happen and if it's the smoke, this is the stupidest thing ever. Blah blah blah. Now I'll tell you this the same thing goes for if Ezra would have been I would have been. This is stupid. This is dumb. But I still will say though, I think people can have their opinions on it and be able to speculate. Speculation is fun. I can't stand the notion of, well, we have too many. You shouldn't have expectations when you watch movies. That's such a lame point of view. I hate it.
Do you?
I hate
I'm
it.
in the middle on it because I do like the speculating. I think the speculating gets out of hand. But then on the other hand, the way fans turn on a show if it doesn't turn out how they want.
We're talking about two different. We're
Holy-
talking about two different things.
Yeah.
We're talking about two different things. I agree with you. I think
Yeah.
that you're, that's, you should be able to state your opinion. And all those same people, if they're like, look, I was hoping that it was going to be Ezra, it wasn't, and now I'm just going to watch and I don't love the decision, but I'm continuing to watch it, and that's it. And if people say that and they can do it respectfully, I think that's part of the game. I think that it's like, for a long time, it's fun to say, like, the same way that you and I would do. You think that's it? You think that's anybody? What do you think is going to happen with so and so? Do you think that's going to happen? We do that all the time, and even whether it's on the air or not on the air, I think it is the most self-righteous thing when people go, just accept what they give you and just do this.
I'm trying to think of whenever I was involved in a fandom where we're trying to guess the identity of what we thought was so.
You've never done it in DC.
I'm trying to think of when I did, because DC, I'm kind of.
But it's
know the
simple.
lore.
It's like, who do you think is going to play that person? Who
You
do you
mean
think is going to
casting wise?
Casting wise, you do the
That's-
same thing. It's the
sure,
same thing.
Sure,
it's like,
it is.
and it's the same
But that's
exact
not
thing.
that's not a story already being told. And we're like, if you look at the evidence, like I again don't know Rebels, I would 100% tell you that wasn't going to be Ezra. I don't watch Rebels, and I know that's not going to be Ezra. They're not going to do that. He's not
Right.
Dave Filoni, who these people love and everyone loves. Do you think this man would respect the lore enough to do something stupid like that?
But it also makes it, when you watch this episode in general, it shows why you shouldn't have never even brought that up, because the whole point, this thing with Sabine, where she's equally, the only reason they're going out there in the first place, it's not to find Thrawn, it's to find Ezra.
I got some thoughts on that.
All right,
We
fine,
get
but
to it.
their whole message, their whole mission is to find Ezra, and there's this entire thing between her and Ahsoka where she's like, we gotta destroy this map, like whether it's Ezra or not.
So Starkiller has never interacted with Sabine or Ahsoka.
Starkiller?
Whitwer's character, right? His name's Starkiller.
No, he hasn't even been brought into
So
canon.
why would they put him in that role? Why did the fans
We're past
think,
that, Mike.
I'm going back to
okay.
it. Why would they think that, yes, that's going to be an awesome reveal?
I think that
There's
the reason
no connection.
I think that the reason why is because whether it's Fallen Jedi, because the story was in Legends, he was recruited by Vader as a really young kid.
Okay.
And he was either the son or a Padawan. I think he was the son of a Jedi. And he was brought by Vader. So if there was this reveal that this young kid taken from it would be very similar, I think, to like the Reva type storyline, right?
Okay.
But the idea is, the problem is you'd have to do so much explaining, and I think that the
makes no
reason people
sense.
were just excited, people want to see Sam Witwer in live action. I
Right.
think that's what it comes.
So
to.
don't do him the disservice of sticking him some
And they
made up
haven't.
character.
Well, they haven't, and
Yeah.
and I think that, but to go back to it, the
Yeah, here
Ezra
we go.
thing, but the Ezra thing is like where it's such a major plot point, where it's the whole reason that Sabine goes, all right, take that because I want to find my friend. You hated that. You didn't like. I think.
Are we going to talk about that right now?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Well, you know what? Save it. I'll tell you why.
All right.
Because I'm very excited to talk to you guys both about Rocket Money and Rumple. I've been using Rocket Money forever. People have been telling me, even yesterday, a whole bunch of people signed up, and I'm so glad that you did. You can get a hold on your cash, man. It is absolutely imperative for you guys. I know that you guys have a lot of these subscription services, and you don't even know what you've signed up for. You signed up 1 month, and then it's like, now what? I'm paying every month for this freaking service. I don't even want it. It will let you know what you're signed up to. It tells you can update. It gives you update on your credit scores. It keeps a lock on how much money you're spending per month. It is a fantastic, fantastic service. I used it way before they were even on as a sponsor. When they came out, hey, Rocket Money is interested, I said, yes, sign them up immediately. Go on over to rocketmoney.com/thing. rocketmoney.com/thing. Sign up today. And not only will it help the show out, it'll help you out. You'll thank me for it for sure. Tons of people have been signing up for it. Go ahead and do that. And I'm also going to tell you about one of my favorite services that I've been using all the time, and good gift, Rumple Blanket. Here you go. I told you, Rumple's the best. I keep getting DMs, and I keep getting people who have been letting me know that they've gotten Rumple because of this show, and I'm so glad. I'm so glad we're spreading the word. I really am. Rumple's great. and they're on a mission to introduce the world to better blankets, and they're doing it. Durable, sustainable, and they're built to last. They recycle over 5 million plastic water bottles a year. They're B Corp certified, climate neutral, and they donate 1% of all their sales to environmental causes. I love Rumple, and I've told you guys many times over, whether you're going to be at a picnic or you're going to go camping or you're just going to snuggle on a couch, they have all types of blankets. It's amazing. They have the original puffy blanket, which is their #1 bestseller. They have over 1 million sold. They have 135 unique designs, and there's a blanket for everyone. People are always looking for some new blankets, and sometimes when you buy blankets, they don't last very long. They're not durable. These things last, and they last for a while. They're amazing. They're not just for the outdoors, as I mentioned. Really good for just snuggling up and watching a movie. I do it all the time. For listeners, go to rumple.com/thebigthing and use that code, thebigthing, at checkout. Get 10% off your first order. Rumple.com/thebigthing, code thebigthing. All right, thank you to our friends over at Rocket Money and Rumple. As I said before, if you're able to and you have the means to do so and you want to help the show out, consider getting one of our sponsors today. 1, 2, any. Go and check them out today. They're linked in the description, always the pinned comment. All right, you did not like Sabine giving over the map. Why not?
I didn't like it at all.
No, I loved it.
I hate it.
Go ahead.
I'm not so like. No, I did watch the very first thing I ever did for you was Far, Far Away. And so we started covering Rebels. So I watched a few episodes. The Sabine character is vastly different now than she was then. And again, character growth happens.
Child to adult.
Yeah, I get it. I'm not a fan of her character.
No?
I don't like her.
Why?
I don't know if it's the performance or the character.
She's not mopey.
No, I'm not saying she's mopey, but so the big villain, we talked about this last episode. Thrawn, huge villain. Like this is Hitler level coming into Star Wars.
Thanos.
Gonna destroy everything again. Yeah. You all know this. The world knows this, how bad he is. You destroy this, you don't find him. He doesn't find his way back. Here you go. I'm sorry. But it's my best friend. Guess what? I love you, man. But if they're gonna say, "Hey, Hitler's coming back with this map," or you never find Harloff, it's like,
what about Snake Bigelow? What if it's Snake Bigelow?
They would understand.
What if it's Shannon?
For the greater good.
What if it's Shannon?
That's the love of my life. That's different. Are Ezra and Sabine loves of lives?
Maybe.
But I just know them as friends. So,
well, this goes back to your point earlier. This is why maybe that Rebels fans will understand this move more than, which I think is valid.
As a general audience, I'm like, you dumb and dummy.
Because you don't have the relationship built up.
Again, fair enough. And again, so those of you listening that are listening to me, I have purposely not watched Rebels, so I don't know this. I'm the general audience.
Yeah, it's a good point.
But I also didn't like Hu Yang going, please stay together. And Ahsoka's like, we're going to do it together. What do I do? Split up?
How about Hu Yang throwing hands?
Oh,
I love that.
That guy chose violence, and Hu Yang threw it back at him. That was fantastic.
That was one of my favorite scenes because he knew that he couldn't keep up.
The effects were great.
They were really great. He knew that he couldn't keep up, but
I thought he was doing good.
He was doing good because he's been training with Jedi for years, and he was doing right. But then he was just like, "All right, help, help!" I loved that scene.
No.
David Tennant is crushing it.
That effect, however they did that, awesome.
It was great.
Yeah.
And I think Ray Stevenson as Balin was the standout for me in this episode for sure.
Ray Stevenson's always good. But for me, of this show, 4 episodes in, who's my favorite?
Ahsoka.
No, Shin.
She's great.
Love her.
She had to turn around this episode too. She's great.
Love her.
Yeah.
And
I think she's staying bad now, Mike.
Oh, she ain't turning good.
I think she's
I think she's killing Ray. I think she's killing Ray. Stevenson.
Oh.
Yeah. Balin. I think she's killing him. I think she is killing him because he's teetering. I think Smet said it best online. He was saying it's like he's giving off Qui-Gon vibes.
Like, yeah.
And in a different way, but I agree. The elder statesman that's like
he's calm. He's
he's on the other side for bad guys, where Qui-Gon will be on the other side for good guys.
Agreed.
But they're kind of like, I looked at him in those eyes through that Smet had mentioned. I was like, there's something common, but I do see him doing what's right. Everything is always with honor. Shin chick.
I would absolutely love if Filoni just dumped it on everyone's head and turned the cliche a little bit, and instead of if you're gonna, everyone thinks that Shin's gonna be the one that turns, and it's Balin, right? Because they have set that up. However,
it's not 100% bad. I don't.
I mean, he has
The whole thing with honor. He's like, hey, I kept my word.
he keeps. There's way more things that he does. He's not a mustache twirling villain.
No,
I
love it.
That's what I love about him. He's got depth. There's a line that he says at least one or two times an episode, and there were a few this one when he says, when she's like, oh, do I sense fear? He's like, experience is the first part he says, and then the other one she's like, what was it, have faith? He goes, have faith. I lost faith a long time ago. It's like those two things just give him so much more depth. And then, like you said, when he tells Sabine, he's like, come with me willingly, and then I'll let you see your friend. And she does. And he's true to his word. He takes her on the ship.
It's so telling of what a great actor does with writing. Like, because they're just two lines, experience.
Yeah.
Sphere experience.
But you feel
and
it.
Depending on the delivery, there's such weight behind it.
Yep.
And watching him as an actor, it's
fantastic. But to give you another thing with that, whether it'll help you look at it or not. But
it won't. But anyway, continue.
But the Sabine thing versus Balin, right?
Uh-huh.
If she destroys that thing,
right,
she's dead. I mean,
Sabine's dead?
Yeah.
Why?
Dude, she shot at Balin 87 times, and he smacked it out of the way like a fly.
Yeah.
If she destroys it, you think he lets her live? He cuts her head off, and what's her face is right behind, and Shin's right behind, ready to choke her out. He didn't let her choke her out because
she promised to
that because she gave him the thing, and he held to her word. She's dead. So there's no way out of that.
Okay, so then maybe that would have been a better. She's got the gun to the thing. Balin's like, I'm gonna kill you, and then she's like, we're stand off, and then he sees her, she sees Shin, and then she's like, this is a lose for me. I got to at least.
You don't think she knew that from shooting at him 75 times?
But it wasn't established out. It like from watching it as an audience member, I was like, where's the way out here? Because Shin shows up after she gives it over.
No.
What?
No, Shin shows up first. Remember?
Does she? You
yes.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Ahsoka's on the cliff. That was another moment, by the way, that I really liked.
Right, I'm sorry.
Ahsoka's on the cliff fighting. It was a great battle between the two of them, because what I like about Balin also is, even though he's more of a chill villain than we've seen, he still fights with power and rage, right? Like, you see some of these swings that he's taken, and he's got Ahsoka up at the cliff, and he has her. He said he didn't have to come to this, is another thing. And they're fighting, and then there's a great moment. You talk about just like acting through the eyes and just like maybe one little line. Rosario Dawson does a phenomenal job when Shin shows up, because she doesn't say any of this, but you read it as she takes in that moment that Sabine is dead, because Shin shows up.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, cool. She's like, Sabine, and the rage comes out in her. And she kind of channels some dark side stuff, because she takes Shin and she throws her into the rocks. Yeah. And that was a great moment. So yeah, Shin shows up first, and then Sabine's got no way out. Okay. You know what I mean?
I would have maybe that was in the performance. I would have liked to seen a little bit more like, I have no other choice right now.
Yeah.
It just seemed like, you win. All right. You beat me, rock, paper, scissors. Here you go.
I think also by knowing that she can find Ezra, and knowing that maybe, the other thing is she thinks, and there's a explanation plus a bit of a critique on my end with this. So we know how close she is with Ahsoka. We know that they have a strained relationship, but they care about each other. Minus the no when she gets killed, she doesn't seem to give a. She's not crying. She's not. Or taking my rage, minus the shooting it. But she's not like. It seemed to me she was more concerned with Hera when Hera was like in peril.
Yeah, again, I had said a couple episodes ago, I'm never going to critique, say, an actor's choices, because it's an actor and that's their choices, and I don't know what was directed. I don't know if it was the writing on the character or it is the performance with the actress. I don't know if It's not
resonating.
Sabine is not working for me.
Okay, I do think she's working for me, and I do think that was more so of a directing. Who directed this one? Do you remember?
Pete Ramsey from Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, okay. Peter Ramsey.
Peter Ramsey. Yeah.
He did a great job. I mean, there was a few times in the woods that you and I always bring this up. There was a few times in the woods it was pretty volume heavy.
I think the whole show's volume heavy.
The whole show.
I don't
this
think
episode?
they go on location at all.
No, I know, but I mean, I'm just saying noticeable though.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. And I don't know where the choice comes from. This show seems so dark.
Yeah.
Not tone-wise, just color wise.
Yeah.
Like I think in post production they made it. It's a conscious choice to desaturate everything, and I don't know why. Because it reminded me of the episode where we met Morgan Elsbeth in Mandalorian, where it was all gray.
I just watched
but
that
I took that as the
morning.
planet.
Yeah.
But this now planet looks the exact same, but you've got pink leaves on trees, and it's like the lightsabers stand out a little bit. But I'm like, and someone online had done like a color pass on it, and their whole thing's like, I fixed it, and like, no, you didn't fix it. You changed what you wanted of it, and not what the filmmakers wanted. But I sided with what he did. It looked so much better.
Yeah.
I don't know what the choice is, and on the Disney side of why they went with this, because it just
that's a flaw.
everything
That's,
is so
that's not a Disney
dark.
thing. That's why I said there's two things that people do all the time. I mentioned this before. When it comes to creative choices like that, that's a Filoni Lucasfilm thing. That's not has nothing to do with Disney.
I'm curious.
The Disney thing, though, I did mention that I'm very curious about, and I said I have no insight to whether this is true or not. But I do think that if they're like, okay, if Lucasfilm's like, we're going to do 6 episodes and we're going to do them at like this episode's 50 minutes. This episode's around 60 minutes, and they go, all right, Disney. I could see Disney saying, can you do 8 episodes and split one of them into 230 so we can get the ratings, get the views, get the streaming numbers? That's a Disney choice, and that I could say. Now again, I don't know if that happened or not. They may have well just said these are our 32 because a lot of these episodes do tend to be shorter, but I wonder if that's because Disney asked for more episodes and that's the way they do it. That's the one thing that I could see when people ask, like, why are these episodes so short? Myself being the biggest advocate of that. I wouldn't be surprised if they have pitched, shorter seasons, but Disney wants more. So they're like, well, instead of doing it with the budget that we have, let's just cut them into these little 33, 34. I mean, I think it's the episode, the way that people would have been talking about this episode, if it was 3 and 4, I mean, they're already, look at the way they're talking about 4. If it was 3 and 4 combined together, I mean, it's a massive,
Think
massive
about how
episode.
much we talked about Andor with the 1, 2, 3 punch, with the knockout.
Right.
We knew it was building. Like, this is like, it seems like they're on 2 episode, punch, knockout.
Is it 1 episode?
And it feels like 1 and 2 were so much, and that's why they showed 1 and 2 together.
Well, 1 was like 50 something minutes.
Yeah.
And then, but the other thing that I said, but what I will say, even though it was a shorter episode, strangely enough, even this is like 30, anywhere between, I forget, 34 or 36 minutes. I forget which one. It did feel longer to me. It didn't feel like there were sometimes that I watch episodes, I'm like, that felt short. This didn't feel short. They got a lot crammed into those minutes, where I think a show that does it really well, and I know it's different when you do science fiction and action, but like The Bear is a show that's anywhere between 25 to 32 minutes, minus like 1 or 2 episodes that were longer, but they get so much done in that time period. I think that, to give credit where credit is due, I think that they got a lot done in the short amount of time that was in this episode.
Sure. I didn't feel shortchanged.
No, and I think that, but yeah, agreeing with what you said about Shin has been fantastic. I love where her character's going, and I really hope
Nuts.
I mean,
She got them crazy eyes.
she's going more and more down the dark side, and I love it. And it's like that moment, which was great. I don't know if you liked it or not, but I love that moment where she's fighting Sabine, and they didn't. And I was so worried they're gonna, here we go, she's gonna get the Force, and she doesn't. Then Shin looks at her, she's like, you have no power, and she's like, boom, 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 shoots at her like Mandalorian style.
Yeah.
I loved that moment. It was that to me was very Sabine from the show.
Yeah.
She's using blasters throughout the entire battle against the HK droids, against like against her, and she was starting to kind of get the better up of Shin at one point. And then Shin had to smoke bomb her ass and take off.
Ninja.
Yeah, it was which is great. But I love what she's doing. And Morgan, what we didn't talk about is with this whole, when Hera and her buddies show up.
Yeah.
And like, oh, okay, we're good to go. And they're like, well, they don't have any fighters on that thing. And don't you love that? Because you and I've always had the same critique of like the new stuff. It's like, okay, what do we need now? We need a big threat, another Death Star, and it's like, oh no, this has that feel of like a big power weapon.
Yeah.
But it has nothing to do with destruction. It has the further of technology and what it's able to do.
It's just, hey, we need a bigger engine.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And we need a big engine for our ship.
I loved that scene with Morgan when they're like, when the droids, like, they're blocking our path. She goes, ignore them.
Yeah.
Awesome. That was awesome, because and then she just fires right through them, kills like 3 of them.
Yeah.
And then with Jason kind of looking over and going, I have a bad feeling. Didn't say about this, said I have a bad feeling. And that clearly is that it's going down.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool.
You you didn't like that moment either?
No, I did. I
Okay.
did. I thought that was really cool. We talked about this a little bit before. Like, I'm curious why Carson showed up. It seems like they like the actor, so we need an X-wing pilot. But I'm like, it makes the galaxy feel smaller to me. And we had talked about this. They're like, so war's coming. Ain't gonna be calling Luke or Han.
Yeah, that was my question is, you know, and this goes back to the stuff that's tough. This is why when you and I talked about this from Mandalorian, right before that reveal happened in season 2. I said the Jedi's got to be Luke, and I said it's got to be Luke.
Yeah.
I said not for nostalgia purposes, not for a cheap pop, for the fact that it makes sense. Like he would be the one that feels the presence of this youngling. It would be him.
Yeah.
The same goes for, and I know that it's tougher because of the deep fake stuff, and we'll talk about that in a second with the Anakin thing, and it's tough. But why isn't Leia being mentioned? She's part of the council. Why isn't Luke? Luke's your first phone call. Luke is your first phone call.
Okay, so let me ask you this to the people that do know these characters through Rebels 1. Has Luke, Han, or Leia ever interacted with Thrawn outside of
the novels?
The novels.
No. Leia, I think maybe.
So because the novels are not canon.
The novels inside of the new Thrawn novels, I believe Leia has had interaction with.
But the original Heir to the Empire, that doesn't count.
That does not count.
Okay, so Luke, Han, these guys have no idea. But they should have been there for all of his battles, right?
Well, no, he disappeared before Luke was discovered on Tatooine.
So,
and
I can't. My head.
Yeah, and he because when Thrawn, it's before the Death Star and all that stuff. So
Thrawn, Heir to the Empire was before the Death Star.
Not Heir to the
That's
Empire.
I'm talking
about Rebels. So you're talking interaction. And I think Leia appeared in a couple episodes. I think it was of Rebels, but I don't know if she interacted necessarily with Thrawn. But I feel like in the novel she did. And Han doesn't get.
Okay, so Thrawn's been in exile wherever during all of New Hope and all of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think out of all of them, Leia would know who he was for sure.
But still, these were the guys that destroyed Vader and the Empire.
Right.
You call them, hey, we got another one of these guys coming up, guys.
There's a potential.
How do we deal with this?
There's a potential, or mention them. There's a potential war. Where's Captain Solo? Where is General Leia? Where is Luke Skywalker? They're it was like what they did recently with who was it? Oh, in The Flash, when they were like, "Where's Superman? Busy.
Yeah.
Where's this person?
Yeah.
Busy." Just give me a busy. They're busy.
You showed a little shot of it. And
why wouldn't you call those guys? I mean, they're your first call. Even Luke says to Ahsoka when she's leaving, they've interacted, and he's like, "When am I going to see you again?" She's like, "Maybe," or whatever it is. That's basically if we can get the budget for it. Is basically what it was, and it's like, it does lend a little bit more merit to the rumor of Kathleen Kennedy says no more Luke. No more
and
Luke.
I get that. I get the fact you're trying to distance yourself. Like I'm one of the guys. Like let's do Star Wars without a Skywalker in it. But because of the time period you're in, it's the reason why
he's the most powerful.
You're like DCU says, like, where's Superman?
Yeah,
you guys know he's in this. Where's your big gun? You got to get him in there.
It's the tough question because you will get people commenting on this video. Oh, we don't need Luke. We don't need this.
Know.
For the idea of it, for the exhaustion side of it, and the fact that every time you need it, you bring Luke in there. I get it, but as for what Mike is saying, when you look at the time period, as far as how it would make sense, is that if you have these two Jedi or rogue Balin and Shin running around the place, and Ahsoka goes, before we do anything, even before we call Sabine, let me see what Luke's doing.
But also, if you're building up to Thrawn is going to, and again, this is not any off topic, but so I think now seeing where we were in this episode, I think Thrawn's the last episode now. I was going to say the last two.
I still think he's
two.
And
I think you're right. This is the setup. Now knowing what I've seen so far, this is the setup for Filoni's movie.
Of course it is.
Filoni's movie is the big battle. And how do you not have Luke in that big battle?
He's got to be.
You've got to. He is on the front line with his lightsaber next to Ahsoka.
He'll probably show up in a scene in the movie.
He's got to be in there. Like,
he's got to be.
I don't see how you don't do that.
How do you set up? How do you set him up as a character inside of your television universe?
Right.
In 2 episodes, or 3 rather, between Boba Fett and that, and not bring him back just because Kathleen Kennedy goes, no. It's like you have to. You've got to fight for that.
Yeah.
You've got to fight for that. And what you also need to fight for is good food and keeping yourself healthy. That's right. Green Chef, AG1, both of them. I've been talking about them forever. Here you go. You guys are very familiar with AG1, and I'm glad that I am. I love AG1. They've changed my life, man. They really have. Our next partner is AG1. It's the daily foundational nutrition supplement that supports whole body health. I drink it every day. I wake up in the morning, I shake up a scoop in a bottle of water, and actually been using this cup I got from the zoo. Don't ask me why, but I that's what I've been doing normally. And I put it in this cup and I shake it around, and I love my coffee. I'm not going to tell you that I don't love coffee, but I only take 1 cup of coffee now. I only need 1 cup because AG1 is my sleep quality is better. My just everything about it. I feel like my immune system is better now. It's like there's so much better. I just feel overall I feel so much more healthy. I've been in a better mood since I've been taking AG1. I really have, and I love it. It's so good because I can't do it's hard for me to do the supplemental routine. It comes with a whole bunch of different products, and it's just, I don't know. It's just easier for me to do it all with one shot. And since I've been drinking AG1, I've known just a lot of mental clarity. My digestion is easier. I'm focusing a lot better. So for me, I don't understand why people would want to take a bunch of different things where you can just take 1 scoop, put it in powder, shake it up once a day, boom. Because AG1 was designed with ease in mind so you can live healthier and better without having to complicate your routine. It's the best. I am so excited, and I'm so glad they're with us. They've been with us for so long, and I had someone over the weekend ask me, "Hey, I want to support the show. I want to try AG1. You think I'll enjoy it?" I said, "Yes, you will enjoy it for sure." And one of the things I really like about it too is that it tastes good. It's green. It tastes good. I'm telling you, and it smells good too. My wife the other day, she's like, "What smells like berries?" I was like, "AG1, man." So if you want to take ownership of your health, try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. You have to go to drinkag1.com/bigthing. drinkag1.com/bigthing. Check it out. You'll thank me later. You guys know Green Chef. I've been talking about Green Chef forever. I love them. I've been so excited to continue to work with them because I've been eating really good, as I mentioned before, not only with other vitamins and stuff I'm taking, but I'm eating really well. And the reason why I'm eating so well is because Green Chef is the #1 meal kit for eating clean with dinners that work for you, and it's not the other way around. You can eat clean the easy way with recipes that help manage your weight and support your wellness goals without skimping on flavor. I talk about it all the time. I do my own. I make like quesadillas now, and I can throw stuff on the grill. They have really good meat, good burgers, and they have everything that you can actually eat. If you don't like burgers, you want to eat vegan more, they can do that too. You can enjoy effortless plant-based dining with Vegan Kickoff, which is a brand new limited time options, including delicious vegan breakfast, lunches, dinners, and sides. They have everything. They deliver everything you need to eat clean the easy way for the rest of the summer. You can feel your best with nutritionists approved recipes packed with clean ingredients that support your healthy lifestyle, and they taste great too. So if you want to check it out, please go and do it because they're really amazing. You get ahead of the busy season with their convenient step-by-step recipes. They have dinners that are ready in like 25 minutes or less. I'm telling you, it was so easy for me, and I'm an imbecile when it comes to cooking. And it was so great. I mean, I love them. If you go to greenchef.com/60thing, greenchef.com/60thing, and use that code 60thing, you'll get 60% off plus free shipping. It is worth the shot. Go and give it a whirl, as the world girls would say. It is so good. I love it, and you'll love it too. So make sure you check it out. That is Green Chef. All right, once again, like I said, every morning I take AG1. I love them. I am so glad that they've been with us for so long, and so many of you guys have already signed up. I keep getting people telling me all the time, and Green Chef, delicious, as my friend Richard would say. Take a little, throw it on the grill, a little healthy organic food. It's delicious.
That the guy stealing soda?
No, that's Barnaby. So anyway, all right. So going back to the Luke Skywalker of it all, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about how he looked in Boba Fett as compared to Mandalorian Season 2. Dramatically different.
I got to go back.
It looked like
okay, so the end, he
popped
up at the end,
it looked like a video game.
Yeah, and then he's in
Boba Fett and looks to this day some of the best.
It's just
night and day.
Well, no, the fact that we're kind of like, oh yeah, back in Boba Fett when Luke showed up. Those episodes, why were they there?
I know, but nonetheless, you had
it's night and day.
It's so good. It's night and day. I feel like it's gone. They've regressed since then. I feel like
you
right?
nailed it. So again, I saw the picture online, and I will never go off of a picture of what I think an effect is. you hear the voice. He turns around, and I was like, "The f- is this? Why does he look like this?
It's like a video game character.
Why can they not?" Okay, now they lost the guy that they brought on, the deepfake guy. He came in and left. Now maybe he did do this, but he's gone, and I don't know why. That's a weird like the fact that they championed bringing him in and then he was gone, and we don't know what projects
this
he
is the
worked
same
on.
people that did the Indiana Jones stuff.
Let me ask you something. There are so many makeup artists in this world, talented, that can make an actor look younger just with little tape, little this, little that, some lighting. And he was in the dark. You couldn't light him differently. Put him on the set and use some makeup on him. That looked awful.
Isn't it strange?
It looked awful.
Like, you look at the Indiana Jones one and that one, right?
Yeah.
Both de-aging the actual actor themselves.
Right.
The one with Luke, they put a Mark Hamill's young face on a different actor, and it looked better.
Okay.
Is that the trick? Is that the thing? Like, or is it just I don't know what it
He
is,
doesn't
but it like
look that old. Like
he does. He's this. You don't have to de-age him by like 16 years. I was shocked. Like there were some people who said it looked good. Look, first of all, I will say this. I love the choice. I love the idea that he's back. I can't wait to see where the next episode goes. I think it's really smart to try to restructure kind of the time space thing and to see Anakin and maybe how he would have been outside of the costume and the Vader. Like, but what I will say is, the second I saw him in that close-up shot, like it looks like Luke in Mandalorian season 2, and it doesn't look good. It's bad.
I can't tell you why it doesn't look right. It's
your eyes are telling you that it looks wrong. That's what it is.
Right.
Your eyes are just going, no, it looks like a video game.
So now, World Between Worlds, is there a reason that Ahsoka is seeing that version of him?
That's what we're going to find out, I think.
Okay. Because I'm like, Hayden doesn't look that old. Like, just bring him in there. Have the makeup people do some makeup tricks.
Well, I think
he wears a wig so you can, when they have this like tape that they pull their actors' faces back to give them an instant facelift, the wig covers that. Just put the actor on set.
But I think that the reason why they went away from that is because, because when you saw him in Obi-Wan, he looked 44 years old, which is not, he's still a young man, but he looks.
In the one flashback scene, you think?
Yeah, he looked.
You didn't think they de-aged that one too?
No, they didn't de-age that one. If they did a terrible job. They didn't. They did not de-age that one.
I remember the scene. I don't remember it standing out like, oh, that's not right.
I couldn't. When I look at something like the Michael Douglas scene or the Kurt Russell scene in the Marvel stuff, right? Like
I think
the Michael Douglas. But it's like
Guardians 2.
Guardians 2 was great, but Ant-Man 1 was 2000.
Michael Douglas in that Ant-Man scene
was fantastic, and it's like, where are those guys?
I'll never forget for me the big one that worked real well was Civil War with Robert Downey Jr.
You think that one worked well?
He was 18 though. They went from like 50 to 18.
I didn't think that one was.
It didn't give me this vibe,
right?
And that was a whole scene of him,
right?
Marvel, whatever they do, they've got a really good handle on the de-aging. It's the Michael Douglas and the Kurt Russell stuff. Yeah. That stuff kills. And I don't know if it's the same people, but and again, those actors are vastly older than what they're supposed to be doing. Right. Hayden is what, 15 years difference? Like,
I don't understand.
A little nip and a tuck on set with makeup.
Yeah, they gave him a full computer face.
But you don't.
Yeah, he had a computer facelift, and it's like, just touch it up a bit. Take some of the wrinkles out.
The wig alone will put 10 years younger on his life, making his hair what it used to look like. And then you just do a little bit of
but you can even do like a Photoshop type thing and just take some of the wrinkles out.
Yeah, like put the little tracking dots and just like, if he's got some bags under his eyes, tracking dot it out.
There's like filters on Instagram that could work.
Yes. Yes. I see these people on Instagram with these makeup tutorials where they're like crackheads and they look like Playboy models all of a sudden.
Right.
Fuck are these people? Get out of the deep fake crap. I think our brains know enough to go, that's not real.
If it hadn't been for the Boba Fett thing, I would agree with you. But the Boba Fett thing, whatever they did there, I don't understand why they can't get back to that.
But then on the other hand, they did that AI voice crap.
Yeah, but they wouldn't have to do that for Hayden. But they wouldn't have to do that for Hayden. Like, because Hayden's voice hasn't changed that much, where Mark Hamill's voice has changed significantly. James Earl Jones's voice has changed significantly. So I understand why they use that program. Even though I think that for Mark Hamill, you probably could have gotten an actor that could have sounded more like him. Because I'm with you. The AI thing for Vader works perfectly because it's mechanical.
I get what you're saying.
But the rest of it, I agree. But you wouldn't have to do that for Hayden because Hayden sounds.
It's a weird choice.
Yeah.
I want to say it'd be cheaper to have the actor on set.
Yeah, they probably
the real actor.
They have. I mean, having him on set is fine, but it's just I just don't understand. Like, what I'm hoping is maybe it was just that episode. a full episode with Hayden looking like that, it's going to be jarring. It's going to be jarring because I think the next episode is just him and Ahsoka.
Do you really?
Yeah. When you
boy.
get into that trailer that we heard with him talking and the different, I think we're going to get into a full. I think the whole episode is just the two of them through different scenarios and whether or not we see other characters throughout time but I don't think I think this is going to be we're going to kind of go off the actual storyline, not for filler, but more so of a new wrinkle in the whole plot.
Yeah.
Or what she's going to have to do and accomplish.
Well, it's called Ahsoka the show, so I'd be all down for seeing just her and him.
It should be because we haven't had a moment between them. Plus, we've never seen Anakin, and we've never seen live action Anakin and Ahsoka together.
Let me ask you this. This is a Rebels question. Because from the episodes of season 1 that I did watch of Rebels, I don't remember Ahsoka being in the show.
In Rebels?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's in a few episodes.
She's in a few episodes.
In Rebels? No, she's in a lot of episodes. I told you she fought Vader.
But she wasn't the main crew at the beginning.
No, she shows up at the end of season 1.
Hera,
Yeah.
Ezra,
Kanan.
Kanan, and Zeb.
Zeb.
Those were the 5.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's because it's tough because everyone's calling Rebel season 5 or whatever season 6, but it's Ahsoka's show, and Ahsoka was a guest star on that show.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be a Rebels. It should be her. So I wonder if, will people be upset that it's going to focus solely on her?
I don't think so. I think not if you have no one's going to be upset
Who's
if Anakin's
who's got the main beef? Ahsoka and Thrawn or Sabine and Thrawn? Who's got the bigger beef?
Hera and Thrawn.
Oh, so it's Hera and Thrawn. So that's the big beef.
I would say so because Thrawn, Thrawn's really responsible for the death of Kanan. So
okay, so it's
and all of them, they all have a
so
good
then
beef.
okay, so now knowing what we know, why do you think they called it Ahsoka instead of
Rebels.
Not even Rebels,
Right.
but like a hint that it's a Rebels show and not an Ahsoka show. What is the impetus for doing that?
Well, one, we don't know where it's going to go.
Okay.
2, she's a big standalone character that the more popular out of all of them.
Okay. That's it.
3, Rosario Dawson.
There you go.
So
you look at you're taking story aside and not so much, but like you also got to look
marketing.
at marketing and the company of Lucasfilm itself.
100%. What can sell? Because especially after you
There we
have
go.
certain things where it's like we need a show that's going to hit, and I think that look, what you can't argue here is when was the last Star Wars show that had the kind of water cooler moment than this did last night?
No, it does. It had
Yeah.
even more so. I know we love it more so than Andor. Andor, I
definitely.
didn't really have water cooler moments. We were just like we're on the verge of an awesome Star Wars show.
Right. You just
This
kind
is
of
a water
marvel.
cooler moment.
You just
Yeah.
marvel at the writing.
And I
the
should say
idea.
this because I have to step outside and look at the people that are the hardcore Star Wars, like that their lives revolve around Star Wars and talk about it, like seeing how excited they were.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
It's pretty great. And I think, look, I was getting texts from people while I was I was watching The Nun, part 2, and I'm getting texts of people, and to be fair, no spoilers, but like Frank Janish, where she just writes in capital Star Wars ! Because he was so excited about the episode itself. And it was nice to see that. And I was like, okay, I got my brother's like, did you watch Ahsoka yet? And I was like,
Wouldn't you have been better if you were getting those texts at 3 a.m. instead of in a
No.
movie when you were watching a movie?
No.
It ruined The Nun for you.
No, it
I'm
didn't.
just telling you it did.
It didn't.
It did.
No, I didn't mind at all. And I also said, okay, now I'm going to go. I made sure what I did was I watched the episode before I checked any social media at all.
Well, you're a great fucking guy, aren't you?
Yes. Yeah. That's right, Seal. Wrap it up, Seal.
The singer?
Sure.
All right.
Is that what he did at his concerts? You don't
I-
know. Anyway, weird. The last one before we go. What do you think happens next?
We got to leave
episode?
already?
Yeah, we got to go.
It's already time?
Almost. What do you think's
What if-
next?
I have no clue.
Where would you see? Man?
Okay, so
speculate.
You're right. I think they're going to do the whole episode will be in the world between worlds and
Yeah.
explaining that and dealing with that because they're just traveling. They're not going to arrive where they need to arrive because all of a sudden then you have to go on the journey of where they are located.
Right.
How close are we to him? That's a whole nother episode.
Yeah.
So we're 4 episodes in. There's 4 left.
Yeah.
8?
Yeah, that's right. 8.
World between worlds. Next episode is getting their bearings in this area.
Yep.
The crew will be trying to find them. Our crew trying to get to hyperspace, and that leads to 7 and 8 is the Thrawn reveal. Yeah.
Yeah. So
we go.
so look, that is a great question as well. Like, how are they? I think that the world between worlds will be the entire episode.
Yeah.
maybe at the very end of it, you get something.
You'll get a little bit of where
they
of
are
them landing.
because I think that somehow Ahsoka is going to be able to access where they are through the world between worlds.
That's going to be a lot of.
How does she get there otherwise?
I don't know.
Right.
But that's going to be a.
They're gonna. I mean, look, Filoni could change the entire fabric of Star Wars with these episodes and the way that it works, because there's a lot of things that you could do, and there's a lot of ways that you can go with, and it's almost like a what if type show in certain scenarios if you play with it.
Has the world between worlds, is this time travel at all?
Kind of. I mean, it's so.
So might be introducing time travel to Star Wars.
Kind of. I mean, if depending on how
dicey.
it is, it depends on how it's executed, because it is kind of time travel-y, because what happens is by the time when Ezra, this is like a year, 2 years later after Ahsoka disappears, that he goes into the world between worlds, and then he pulls her out, and that's how he saved her. So it is time travel, so it's just nobody had a complaint about when they were watching Rebels. So the question is, how are they going to explain it? And it's just a matter of execution, man.
That's going to be something.
It's going to be something.
Yeah.
What'd you guys think of the episode, man? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Are you with Mike? Are you with me? Do you have your own thoughts? What do you say? Make sure you comment. Let us know exactly what you think. Do it below, and make sure you check out Mike Kalinowski on the Twitters or the X, whatever it is. And myself do the same thing. And then once again, people are always asking if you're able to support the show, and if you have the means to it, please consider one of our wonderful sponsors here today. I cannot emphasize how much it helps the show. And you're like, oh, you say that all the time. Is it true? I'm like, yeah, it's true. And if you've done it, thank you. If you can do it, please try it. And you will not be sad about doing it. They are awesome. Rocket Money, Rumple, Athletic Greens, AG1, and of course, Green Chef. So thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to Mike, and thank you to you guys. We'll see you on the flip side. We'll be back tomorrow with Roxy and Brett on The Big Thing. See you next time. Hit that button if you haven't done it already. We'll see you next time. Peace.
I can feel your anger. It gives you focus, makes you stronger.